Hi guys, so welcome back to the conversations about investing. So today I just want to talk to you about what it means of not to invest. So think about big companies across Africa, and when I think about one of the largest companies across Africa, I think of Safaricom, I think of Equity, I think of KCB, but at the same time I think of companies like Netbank, Dangote Group, and so on. So these companies have raised billionaires. They've been able to make people grow from one level to the other. So what does it mean for not to invest? So what it means that when you're not able to make an investment, this is what happens. We have a section of certain population, we call them the 1%, the 2%, that keeps growing. So when that margin keeps increasing, when life gets hard for you, for them it doesn't, because the value of their money grows. And when you fail to invest, you find that the other people are able to make a gains on it. Think about I keep on saying, in terms of finances, the people who save, we call them losers, because when you're saving, you're just getting mere interest. But when you're investing, you're getting a part of the risk. That means you have an avenue to make your money grow. And that's something that currently is a bit rare when you're talking about the case study for finances, that I've been asking myself. So what do we need to do that is very different, that we sit down and say, okay, if we do this makes sense, if we do that makes sense. So from today, I think I just like to explain to you that what it means to invest. And investing goes to the word that I call compounding. So when you get to compound, your money is able to grow from one aspect to the other. Most African countries, and I'll use the word most African countries, do not foster a need to create for investments. They teach people how to depend on the government, because the government themselves depend on other governments, European markets. For example, I am in a country where the debts are higher than GDP, than our GDP, and that's insane. That's really stressing. You look at how much we owe to European markets. That what happens in the central government is translated to its people. So you find that when you set down average of how many Kenyans, 0.5 out of 10 of Kenyans have an investment, and this is worrying, and the number is reducing for younger people. And because we are concerned with borrowing. A company like Safaricom, I think right now is the largest bank in the world, if someone asked me. Because if you are able to make people borrow closely to $10 million or $12 million on a daily basis, you're bigger than JP Morgan Chase. If JP Morgan Chase was able to make such kind of deals, or HBC, or First Bank of America, they'll be making huge money. But you see, because we like to borrow, then you're not able to grow. I look at young people complaining about having these borrowing firms like Tala Group and so on, and you ask yourself, so what do you need to do that is different? So that is what happens when you don't invest. You feel like you have a need to you have a need to keep borrowing. Like when I'm saying, when uko hapo unafikiria na koleka, the only thing I need to do is wacha tu niombe kapesa kidogo, fuliza, let me fuliza something small, and then the thing continues, it keeps on going. So that's a culture that is, I call it toxic, because the common mwananchi, the moment umezoea kuomba, it translates to the outside, to the outside. If you look at countries like Japan, the economy was bigger to another level. Germany, because the citizens are forced towards making an investment for themselves. Averagely, 90% of the American population owns a stock. That's why when you go to sites like CNBC, Make It, you hear 12-year-old owns a piece of real estate, and then you ask yourself, what is a 12-year-old doing in Kenya? So let me ask you, when you're 12 years old, what are you doing? Okay, let me see. I think I was probably trying to get trying to get into high school, but it's very different. So the question is, how do we now change from that culture and be able to innovate with the other culture? I look at a country like China. China never used to export a lot, but through feeding its own population, buy China, build China. China made fake products that used to get to Africa. Yet Africans are not able to build their own good products. And that is what happens when you don't create a good and favorable investment culture in a particular country. You are not able to grow. Let me give you a story of what happened in Zimbabwe. There's a time when Zimbabwe had a president, the late Mugabe, and what happened is that the president made a lot of comments about the European markets, and there were so many sanctions that were made against them. So what happened is that the currency went undervalued and devalued because of some utterances. And you ask yourself, so what happens if the citizens themselves invested in each other? They grew their own motor vehicle industry. They will be at a different level. That is what it means to be able to invest in Kenya. Right now, I've seen so many startups across Africa that when they look for funding, they don't look for funding amongst their fellow Africans. They're looking for funding from Europe. Then you ask yourself, so when is Africa going to wake up and grow its own? That is what it means to not invest, that we create a dependency. We are not able to grow our own. And sometimes you ask yourself, so what does it mean to be a first-class citizen or a second-class citizen? I think if someone asks me, it's just a basis of how good do you make your investments? How good are you able to sit down and say, okay, this is what I'm working on, this is what I'm doing, let me make an investment. When was the last time you invested in a mboga product and said they needed funding and you went in and so on? So at some point, as an African investor, I feel like we need to create a culture where we are able to grow investments. We are able to train that culture from young generation to the other, that it grows from one step to the other, it grows from one point to the other. That is what it means to make an investment. And making an investment you don't need to have, 100,000, no. With the 1,000, go to the stock market, Nairobi Stock Exchange market. Look at the companies like Cooperative Bank that is trading at 1 shillings. One share is going for 13 shillings. That means with 100 shares, that's 1,300. With 1,300, you're able to invest in a company. If you look at a company like Britam, where the shares is below 10 shillings, that means with your 8 shillings, with your 800 shillings, you're able to create an investment for you. When you start growing African businesses, when we reduce that dependency, even our governments are able to get it from that side. So that's up for me today. I hope that you make better investment decisions. Thank you.